Good morning. Good morning to all of my fellow citizens. Good morning. It is a pleasure to be here today as we come together for this day of solidarity. I am so pleased to be here this morning and to tell you that you are making a very loud, a very clear, and a very distinct statement today by being here on these hallowed grounds. It's what we call the Legislative Plaza in the Capitol. And I want to thank you for being here this morning. I know you're here and you're talking about building relationships among other citizens across the state of Tennessee. You're here because you want the same seat at the table as anyone else, which is all the right thing and should be so. So I chose this morning to take a few moments to talk to you simply from the word freedom. Because all you're asking for simply dictates one thing. You have to understand, to build a relationship with anyone else, you have got to be free. So I want to talk to you about that for just a few minutes. And I know my time is very limited. I often say when I talk to citizens across this state, to small groups, large groups, or whatever, that our emotions can sometimes be our best friend, and sometimes our emotions can be our worst enemy. But freedom starts with what you think, not what someone else is doing. Your freedom is not in the hands of world politicians, local politicians, people in your communities, your neighbors. Your freedom comes, as all of our freedom does. It doesn't matter what race, religion, what backgrounds we're from. All of our freedom comes from a higher being. That thread runs not from street to street, but really from heart to heart. I remember as a good example when the politicians, folk like myself, took prayer, they said, out of schools. That was one of the greatest tricks against citizens of this United States that were ever brought. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot take prayer out of a man's heart, and you cannot take freedom out of a man's heart. Yes, you can put up some bumps. You can put up some things that'll cause them to may have to slow down, take another route, or what have you. But what's in your heart comes from the God you serve. Whether it's the God you believe in that I serve or the God you serve, your freedom comes from that higher being, and no one else can ever take it away from you. I need to tell you that your freedom is bigger than any politician you'd ever meet. Your freedom is greater than anyone else that you would ever meet. Yes, you are facing challenges, but don't forget, not only do you face challenges, we all face challenges every day of our lives. But that higher being that's in our lives put us in these places so we can see firsthand how he can work for us if we allow him to do so. So I just wanted to come this morning to tell you that your freedom comes from a galaxy where there is no division in culture, no division in race, relations, and all of that. There is a common thread that runs from all of our hearts that makes us free, and I don't want us to ever forget that. So here's what I would say to you in my closing. If you want to build relationships in your community, across the state of Tennessee, and across this nation, love one another. If you want to build relationships across this state, this country, your neighborhoods, trust one another. If you want to build relationships, not only here, but across this nation, you have to most of all find each other. Meet people where they are. And don't you ever lose sight on who you are, because they don't know who you are. God bless you. May God keep you. Keep doing what you're doing. My office is open to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You get the same privilege, the same treatments at 36C as anyone else will get. So come talk to me and let me help you build these relationships that you're trying to build. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Representative Shaw. I was sitting at the other side of the stage being reminded of why you should never follow a preacher at an event like this. But I'm thrilled to be here this morning, and thrilled to be here to welcome you for this day on the Hill. Representative Shaw and I are asked oftentimes to welcome people to the Capitol, to welcome them to their legislature, to welcome them to come advocate on behalf of issues they care about. But it's important for, I think, all of us to remember, especially those of us who serve in these representative bodies, we're just as much guests here as anyone else. Whether you've been in the legislature for 20 minutes or 20 years, it's not our place. It's the citizens' place. All of us who live in this state and have an interest in its future own this House, own this Senate, own this Capitol, and it is as much yours as citizens as it is all of ours as citizens, as it is all of us ours as senators and representatives. And so I'm pleased to welcome you to this home of yours today to advocate on your behalf. This is an interesting time in American politics where I think we're seeing lots of consternation about whether we're going to have a politics that's based on division or a politics that's built on common ground. And I generally think, as we watch the history of this great country, the history of freedom spreading across it and spreading within it, that we always do better when we're trying to find common ground. That when more of us succeed, all of us are doing a lot better. And there's so much common ground to find. I look around the room and see lots of people that live in my district that I've met, and I know that there are going to be issues that are specific to your community that you're going to address with the legislators today and during this session. But there's also many issues that your community, that I know that this community cares about, that are shared widely, from just general safety, education, how do we get better jobs, how do we create entrepreneurship, how do we do things that are going to make this state more successful. And when we're all in those things together, we will all succeed. Representative Shaw discussed the freedom that is really at the heart of the United States government and the heart of the Tennessee government. If you haven't, please go and look through the Tennessee Constitution. You'll see right there on the first page. Actually, you get to this part in the Tennessee Constitution before you get to it in the federal Constitution. The first section is a Declaration of Rights. And the second Declaration of Rights speaks about how this government is never going to impose a restriction on people's rights to follow their own conscience. The third section of that document is about how there's not going to be a religious test for anyone to serve in that legislature. And we're not going to have those to enter this state, to enter this Capitol, or to enter into these offices ever. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for your advocacy on behalf of Citizens Tennessee, and I look forward to continuing to work with you